Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I mock it, give you my views, thoughts, and opinions. We're traveling to the land of NBC, and we're going to check out one half of the NFL Stock Exchange. Connor Rogers, he has released a new mock draft, so I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker. Starting with the Chicago Bears. Oh, what a surprise. It's Caleb Williams. Of course it is. This pick's not going to be changed anytime soon. You can probably just chalk it in, use pen, permanent ink. They're going Caleb Williams. The Washington Commanders are going to be going Jaden Daniels. Let's go ahead and read the blurb that he set out here. A new owner, new GM, coaching staff, now a franchise quarterback. Daniels is an electric runner with a quick release to make touch throws. He drastically improved against pressure in 2023, but needs to stay on that trajectory to live up to this draft position. Okay, so no real clue into like why him over Drake May. I just assume we're just going with like the Cliff Kingsbury preference at this point, which probably means the New England Patriots are going to be taking Drake May at number 3, which is indeed the case. It is a Drake May. The spot is the wild card of the draft. If New England picks up the phone, they'll get a haul of picks to move out. The problem is Patriots still need a long-term answer under center, drafting and developing Drake May to sit behind Jacoby Brissett in an ideal situation. I tend to agree. If it's Jaden Daniels here, then you're probably kind of like, do we want to move out? Because I honestly think Drake May is that much better of a prospect. And then Jaden Daniels doesn't mean that Drake May is going to end up being a better professional football player than Jaden Daniels. Is just in terms of who would I risk the biscuit for, as Brian Leftwich would say, it would be Drake May over Jaden Daniels. All right, pick 4, no trade. So I don't know if we will see a trade in here. I imagine if one comes, it'll come at 5. But we did see in yesterday's mock the mock that we had a trade at 4. But Arizona Cardinals, they go Marvin Harrison Jr. If he makes it to 4, it's kind of the obvious pick for the Cardinals. And now I guess the draft really starts here at pick 5 with it's the Minnesota Vikings moving up to get JJ McCarthy. Sorry, Vikings fans, get used to this. Some of y'all may not like it, some of y'all may not love it, but this is the reality you're probably gonna deal with. Right now, anticipating where the Vikings might trade up. Gonna be fun. A lot of us are probably going to anticipate the Chargers because we just assume the Chargers would want to move down. Jim Harbaugh is going to want to acquire more draft capital to use in his first draft as the head coach for the Chargers. The Vikings did have a private workout with JJ McCarthy. So, hey, if you're trying to connect dots, there's one there. So we see 4 quarterbacks go in the top 4. Now I'm super curious to see what will happen with the Denver Broncos. I know the popular opinion is to trade down than take quarterback. But do they even take quarterback in the first round? We'll see. New York Giants go with Malik Neighbors. I love Malik Neighbors. I think he is wide receiver 2 in this class. Spoiler for my wide receiver rankings, which will come out at a later date. But yeah, no, the Giants, I feel like their quarterback move this offseason was Drew Lock. They're going to go with Daniel Jones, which means, hey, we've already improved the offensive line. Let's try to get more playmakers. And this is kind of your last hurrah, Daniel Jones. Make the most of it. And if so, then I don't know, maybe the Giants stick with you. It's going to be a big year for Daniel Jones. He could definitely turn around the narrative on him, especially with what they've done to just help him via the offensive line, via, I assume, take wide receiver very early in this draft. Tennessee Titans, chalk this one in. It's Joe Alt, too easy, child's play. They released Andre Dillard. They paid all that money to Calvin Ridley. Again, too easy. Atlanta Falcons, they go with Jared Verse. That's fascinating because I tend to peg that Dallas Turner might be a better fit for Raheem Morris, but I'm not against Jared Verse. So let's read this one real quick. With Kirk Cousins in the fold, Atlanta can answer the phone to get out of the spot if someone wants to come up for a tackle or a wide receiver. If they have to stay, I love versus power profile mixed into their front seven. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I'm a big Jared Verse fan. He's, I think he's right up there with guys like Dallas Turner and Liatu Latu. Verse, we talked about Verse in the 2023 draft as a potential top 10 pick, and I still kind of look at him as such. But before we get into pick 9, if you want to know more about the NFL draft, well, I got good news for you. I got a draft guide. Here's a nice little promo for that. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Pick 9, Chicago Bears go with Rome Odunze. Kind of an easy one here. We figure this is probably how the wide receivers are going to fall in terms of Cardinals, Giants, Bears. Of course, trades are going to muddy the waters a little bit, so we'll see. We'll find out. I like the Bears going ahead and grabbing another weapon to line up there with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. And, I mean, Rome Odunze is a little bit different compared to what you have in DJ Moore, so I like that actually quite a bit. New York Jets, they go with Troy Fautanu. I think early, I'm coming around to this because I think I said yesterday that I'd rather them go with an immediate like playmaker, whether it's like Brock Bowers, maybe it's a wide receiver that falls to him like Malik Neighbors or Rome Odunze, and because they've already kind of addressed the line with Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses. People will be like, well, those aren't long-term options. I don't think the Jets are right now looking long-term. I think you're looking for immediate playmakers or immediate, just guys that can come in and contribute immediately. Not to say Troy Fautanu cannot, because honestly, he could come in and probably immediately compete for left guard there with Josh Simpson. And knowing that Tyron Smith has missed time the last few years, that Fautanu could actually move into left tackle, which, I mean, he's probably going to be your heir apparent left tackle regardless. So I'm a bit more open to the idea here now. At pick 11, Los Angeles Chargers go with Talanise Fuanga out of Oregon State. They get their right tackle. They will have a pick at 23 as well. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad pick. Really, if they move down, they could do a variety of different things. This could be corner if they want to go with the first corner off the board. I think that would be fun. If they want to go wide receiver, they honestly can. Brian Thomas is kind of legit. I think he's a top 20 guy. But they go Fuanga, who can come in and play right tackle immediately. Be, I would say, an upgrade over Pipkins. The Denver Broncos do not go quarterback. They actually go with Dallas Turner. All right. So I'm kind of curious if we'll see another quarterback taken in this draft. Maybe they trade up at the back end of the first round. But let's read this one real quick. The Broncos' plan at quarterback remains a mystery. It seems unlikely that they will be as aggressive as Minnesota expects to be. Well, Minnesota has the draft capital to be aggressive. But the Broncos clearly need an answer at that position. Rather than taking Michael Penix or Bo Nix here, they get a versatile pass rusher in Dallas Turner, which I think is fine. I think Denver, maybe they just, maybe like, you know what? We're content with Jarrett Stidham. Maybe they say that. Maybe. Pick 13, Las Vegas Raiders go with J.C. Latham. He's listed him as a tackle, which I think is good. Word is some of the NFL views him as a guard. I think he's a little too tall to play guard. Doesn't mean he can't play guard. It just means I like him at tackle. I think he should play tackle. So This move would kick Thayer Mumford into right guard. You already brought back Andre James. You have Dylan Parham at left guard. And then, of course, Colton Miller, who is just a freaking stud. So you feel really good about the offensive line at this point. So, yeah, J.C. Latham's going to be interested in this class. I think he's a guy that is a top 20 prospect, but with the sheer depth at the tackle position, someone's going to get lost in the shuffle there, you know? Pick 14, New Orleans Saints take Olu Fashanu. Ooh, this was a little bit interesting. Kind of, sort of. They did just bring in Chase Young, so them going edge here seems a bit unlikely. It feels like the move is tackle. Ryan Ramczyk, word is there's a lot of encouraging signs that he will be able to play next season. However, long term, that's still going to be a bit of a question mark. Trevor Pettit hasn't looked great, unfortunately. So you're probably looking for a left tackle. Olu Fashanu would be that left tackle. He people are like, why is he falling? Why is he falling? Because his tackle class is nuts. His tackle class is nuts, and you're going to be looking at ways to nitpick guys, and you're going to worry about Olu Fashanu, how he deals with power. You're going to worry about the small hands, how he is as a run blocker. Those are going to be concerns. Indianapolis Colts go with Brock Bowers. In my opinion, probably this is his floor. Good fit. I've talked about this quite a bit where, hey, Jelani Woods missed all last year. Don't really know what you got at him. Kylan Granson's more of a big slot. Mo Alley-Cox is just tight end depth at this point. So Brock Bowers, you would be getting an immense upgrade at that tight end position. You're just adding another weapon there for Anthony Richardson. So sounds good. Seattle Seahawks, they go with Jackson Powers Johnson, another popular pick here for the Seahawks because they're a tough team to project. I'm actually curious to see. I feel like they just added some offensive line help. Yeah, that's yeah, they brought in Tremaine was it Ankrum, the former Clemson. I think he was playing tackle at Clemson. May have been playing guard. I don't know. It feels like it's been an attorney. I can't remember. But yeah, by no means are you done with the interior. Dude, Jackson Powers Johnson, one of my favorite prospects in this class. He's a bit of a my guy. I know some people will be like, well, what about Olusegun Oluwatimi? It's like he was a 5th round pick. That's not going to stop me from bringing in competition. For goodness sake, they've also signed Nick Harris. So if they want to go center here, it would make sense to me if they wanted to. But before we get into pick 17, I got to give a shout out to Underdog Fantasy. Thank you for being the sponsor of today's video. If you sign up using promo code Broshmo, they will double your first deposit up to $100 dues, which means if your first deposit's $100, if you sign up using promo code Broshmo, it'll be $200. Currently, they got some fun March Madness stuff going on, so go ahead, check that out. And they currently have freaking best ball drafts going on that already include this rookie class. You can get on the action early and now. Remember, sign up using promo code Broshmo. But as always, please bet responsibly, bet within your means. Pick 17, Quinyon Mitchell. The corner class had a little stumble here. They fell down the board, which works out for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they kind of got an opening there on the outside at corner. Currently, they have Tyson Campbell, who's coming off a bit of a rocky year where I think he was beat up a little bit as well. They bring in Ronald Darby, but you could definitely use more talent there on the outside. Quinyon Mitchell is just fabulous value. I think he's someone I'd be willing to take in the top 10. It's kind of where I'm at with him as a corner. He's just had such a phenomenal offseason draft process. Cincinnati Bengals, they go with Amarius Mims. They have not brought in Mekhi Becton, and it doesn't sound like they will, which is fine. There's immense tackle talent in this class, and you could get one hell of a potential stud in Amarius Mims, a guy that could go top 10 because of the tools and the athletic ability at his size is that intriguing. It's just unfortunate that he hasn't started or played in a lot of games. He had to deal with the ankle injury where he had a little bit of tightrope surgery, came back, re-aggravated it, but now he's back healthy. And the dude is just tools galore. I was a big fan of his coming into the season because you can go back to 2022 and what he did during that playoff run. I mean, just utterly shutting down Ohio State's tandem there of Jack Sawyer, TJ Tuimoloau, and company. So big fan of this. I think the Bengals, honestly, you're in a perfect situation where you should probably go tackle at 18. Pick 19, the Rams, they go with Jer'Zhan Newton, first interior player off the board. For me, him and Brian Murphy are very close to one another. If you haven't checked it out, I just released my final defensive tackle rankings for the 2024 NFL draft. So you can check that out in the iCard, or you can check it out after this video. And I have these guys separated by like 4 spots on my big board. I think they're both fabulous talents. I think they are head and shoulders above the rest of this interior class. I'd be willing to take these guys in the first round. I'd be willing to take, honestly, probably both of them inside the top 20. The Rams, obviously, Aaron Donald just retired, so you might be looking to add some good players at that position. So whether it's Byron Murphy or Johnny Newton, I think both are good options. Pick 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers go with Brian Thomas. I love this. It's just, you're really gonna have to convince me that the Steelers would take a wide receiver in round 1. That's just not what they've done over like the last 2 decades. Let's read this one real quick. The Steelers are one of the premier franchises at finding wide receiver talent beyond round 1, but Thomas is simply too enticing here. His deep speed and ability to climb the ladder on throws down the field makes for an exciting duo with George Pickens. I don't disagree with that. I like the pick. I don't know if the Steelers will do it. I guess we shall see. Miami Dolphins, they go with Graham Barton. Barton's had an interesting rise for me where it's like, oh, you know what? I think he's more early second round pick, but I wouldn't mind taking him at the back end of the first round for the Niners. And then it became, I wouldn't mind taking him at the back end of the first round for the Buccaneers. And I wouldn't mind taking him at pick 24 for the Cowboys. And now it's like I'm looking at the Dolphins. I'm like, yo, straight up, get that guy to play guard because we are in trouble when it comes to our offensive line. Let's take a quick gander. We will get Terry Armstead back, which, I mean, he might be in his last season. Fortunately, we brought back Isaiah Wynn, but I mean, he was beat up last season. We bring in Aaron Brewer. He's going to be playing our center position. And Robert Jones, I'm a big fan of Robert Jones. I really liked him coming out of Middle Tennessee. I don't know if he's a starter in the NFL, though. So, like, bringing in more talent to compete, especially one as versatile as Graham Barton. If you're unfamiliar, this cat was recruited as a guard, ended up playing center his freshman season, and then played 3 years at left tackle. A guy that just has flexibility all over the offensive line. So I guess consider me on the Graham Barton train. It's, I guess, been a long time coming, but hey, here I am. Pick 22, Philadelphia Eagles, Terrion Arnold. That's a phenomenal pickup for the Eagles. They need cornerback help. They haven't really addressed the secondary much at all this free agency, as we've seen them bring in guys like Bryce Huff, and they added some linebacker talent with Devin White, bringing in Saquon Barkley. Like they really haven't touched the secondary one bit at all, with I guess what their lone addition was bringing in CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he's going to be playing the slot. They need more guys on the outside that can compete. You don't have confidence in Darius Slay or James Bradbury. Those are a couple of old heads that saw a bit of a dip in play. I don't know how much better it'll be with Vic Fangio at the helm. I mean, obviously, when he was the consultant or the defensive, I guess consultant would be the word, they were in 2022. I mean, that secondary was pretty darn nuts. So I don't know. Maybe they're confident that they could get back to what it was all of a season ago. We got the LA Chargers going with Nate Wiggins. I get it. The upside's very enticing. You already saw a couple of corners come off the board there. Yeah, it's fine pick. I don't know if he's really going to be Jim Harbaugh's cup of tea, but I mean, this is a dude that has the tools. Obviously, has the speed. You worry about how he deals with physicality, but being the youngest corner in this class, you got to imagine he's going to be able to put on the weight, and you could maybe teach that coach that physicality into him. Then again, I'm kind of a believer of it's much easier to take someone who is overtly physical and teach them how to be more discreet and kind of reel back, opposed to taking someone who's just isn't inherently physical and trying to make them physical. I mean, sometimes guys just don't have that dog in them. So, I don't know. We'll see. Dallas Cowboys. They go with Tyler Guyton. So, this is going to be their tackle of the future, I suppose. So, let's actually read over this. An incredible era for Dallas is over with the departure of Tyron Smith, while Tyler Smith likely moves over from guard. They still need to capitalize on this deep offensive line class. The 1 year starter at right tackle for Oklahoma moves like a tight end and brings a great compete level. That's an interesting phrase in there. But needs some seasoning with his hand placement. I mean, I don't know what the contract of a guy like Terrence Steele, who after signing kind of came off a down year with the Cowboys. Part of that was being a little banged up. I don't know, man. This one's a little interesting. Because I feel like if you're making this move, you're keeping Tyler Smith at guard. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But real quick, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Let's go ahead, get into pick 25. Green Bay Packers, Cooper DeJean. It's an easy pick to make. A guy that has flexibility, whether it's in the slot, as a safety, or if you see him as a corner, as I see him, I think he is a starting corner in the NFL. I don't know why some people don't believe that. He has been a hella good for the last 2 years. I mean, currently, you're looking at the safety group there, and you got Xavier McKinney, but Anthony Johnson Jr., they're a second-year player from Ohio State who, I mean, they spent a 7th-round pick on. You must, I don't know how confident you feel, but, I mean, you look at your corner position, and it's like Eric Stokes, who just couldn't get healthy last season, Karen Valentine, who also was a former 7th-rounder, but you saw some promise from. So, I mean, even you look at the slot, and it's like Keyshawn Nixon's all right, but he's more of a return man for you. And you could probably feel like you could upgrade the slot. That's why there's so much value with a guy like Cooper DeJean. Anyway, Buccaneers, they go with Latu. I think he's going to be going to the top 20. I don't know where. I struggle in mock drafts of just getting him like drafted in the top 20, because it's like I always end up taking Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, and then it's like, okay, where he can go. But I honestly believe that pick 8, Atlanta, is in the cards for Latu. Like, the dude's a hell of a good football player. He might not be like the nutty athlete like Dallas Turner and Jared Verse, but he is so much more well put together. Like, in terms of being a technician, he is already at a level where you feel like he is a seasoned vet in the NFL. So this would be a great pickup for the Buccaneers. Arizona Cardinals, they go with Byron Murphy. They spent all that money on, honestly, low-level starters on the interior in Justin Jones and Law Nichols. Honestly, Murphy immediately ends up, I think, being the best player there. I mean, they still got Dante Stills. I don't think they make this move just because of how aggressive they were. Because, I mean, they gave those guys, what, a 3-year $31 million and then a 3-year $21 million, something like that. I know they spent like $50 million between both those guys, so I just don't think they probably go with that here. But I mean, the value's great. Buffalo Bills, they go with Adonai Mitchell. All right, let's read this one because he does mention Curtis Samuel in here, which they just added. I think GM Brandon Bean will look to be aggressive in this draft, but in this scenario, the Bills stay put and get a deep threat in Mitchell. After giving Curtis Samuel a 3-year deal, they still need a big-bodied target in this group. I have questions about Mitchell's consistency, but I keep hearing round 1 for him. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. Adding Curtis Samuel, who I feel like is more like him and Khalil Shakir. There we go. Kind of occupy the same role. They're different players, different style of players, but they kind of occupy that. They're kind of more primary slot players. But I don't know. We can see, man. Keep throwing weapons at stinking Josh Allen. He's not gonna be mad. Detroit Lions go with Zach Frazier. This might become a little more or less likely now that they added Kevin Zeitler, which that's a great pickup, even if it's just for a year. I mean, this is a team that's gonna be contenders for the NFC Championship. So, yeah, I mean, this pick probably less likely now. Again, that Kevin Zeitler news came in late last night. And I mean, to be fair, it just said he's expected to sign a 1-year deal. I don't know if it is actually official yet. I guess I could check their roster page real quick. Yeah, he's officially on the roster, so. Yeah, I mean, dude, Lions have had a great free agency. The New York Giants, they trade up and take Michael Penix. Wow, and I just talked all that earlier about the Giants probably being out on quarterback. Their quarterback move was Drew Lock. That's it. And hey, give Daniel Jones one last hoorah. I mean, it's like, remember the Alamo here, right? Where he comes out guns a-blazing, and I don't know, maybe he's like, hey, no, I signed a 4-year deal here, and I'm going to stay here for all 4 years. I'm going to show you some stuff. But they move up. They get Michael Penix in this scenario, and I'm not against it. I honestly think they should be in the quarterback conversation. That's just my opinion. San Francisco 49ers take Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm a huge Kool-Aid McKinstry fan. I would love this addition. I feel like San Francisco is pretty confident in their offensive line. They probably really like who they have there. I think they could probably upgrade quite a bit. Starting with right tackle. You can look at both guard positions. I think they could probably upgrade those guys, but they're probably content. So going for another corner to come in there and just be good competition, add more talent, just add more depth. Kool-Aid is phenomenal. It's a shame that he is just kind of lost in this cornerback class. Don't necessarily think he's going to test as well as like a Nate Wiggins and Quinyon Mitchell. Keep in mind he's got the Jones fracture in his foot that he's gonna run with at his pro day, and then he's gonna get surgery after. So that's a little unfortunate, but still, huge Kool-Aid McKinstry fan. All right, Kansas City Chiefs. Oh no, he's got teams without first round picks in this mock too. They go Jordan Morgan. This is interesting because, I mean, you got to feel good about guard. I mean, are you playing him at left tackle right off the gate? I mean, probably the move. I mean, you're going to have him come in there and compete with Wani Morris. I'm curious because, I mean, Trey Smith's contract will be coming up, right? He's played in 2021, 2022, 2023, and yeah, 2024 would be his final year. Maybe they just let him walk in free agency. Joe Doty, how old is he at this point? I mean, it's not like the plays dropped off at all. But yeah, he's 31, so maybe looking to the future is not a bad idea. Carolina Panthers go with Troy Franklin at 33. I'm not wild about it. I think Troy Franklin, I see him more as a midday 2 guy. But I mean, he does address what Carolina needs in terms of, yeah, they need separators. Houston Texans take Roman Wilson, so adding him to the wide receiver core there. I like that. I don't mind that one bit, actually. Yeah, because Nico Collins is going to be a free agent. So maybe you're kind of hoping to get a little bit better size of a receiver. Like, dude, Xavier Leggett would be fun as hell. Baltimore Ravens, because they did trade down. They go Ricky Pearsall. So, shoot, just all the wide receivers coming off the board. I like this fit, actually, for Baltimore quite a bit. And then the Cleveland Browns, they go with Peyton Wilson. They did lose Taki and Walker in free agency. They bring in Jordan Hicks, but he's more of a short-term answer. Peyton Wilson could maybe be that long-term answer at linebacker. So, yeah, that one's kind of fun too. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want to check out my rankings, I got quarterback rankings, I got defensive tackle rankings down there. So go ahead, check those out. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.